Welcome back, all of you beautiful broken shares out there. I'm not talking about some of y'all. I'm talking about all of you beautiful broken shares out there. Welcome back to the JCP Ads on Perspective podcast. Here I am joined by my lovely co-host Cole,
What is up, y'all?
and welcome back to week 13 of the NFL. We're already at week 13. We might as well be in the preseason. I mean, the postseason right now.
I was gonna say preseason. I would take again. Let's start up the season again.
Right. Let's just start over. Start right
Yeah.
over because this week had a mess, an upset, everything in between, a disappointment, boring games. This is how you describe NFL in the 2020s. Is how I
Pretty
say it.
much.
But let's kick it off today with some NFL news. With the Steelers might have done the greatest thing possible in signing the best quarterback of all time. Me and Cole agree here with
The greatest,
Steelers have signed Trace McSorley.
the
Throw
legend.
it. The player that has the best song in all of NFL. Well, it was in college, but still.
I
That
was gonna
that it
say
just
we would
carries
play
over.
it, but we don't want to get copywritten, so
Throw it on a dime like you always do. But yeah,
nailed it.
seriously though, this is a good pickup, especially when Kenny Pickett went down in this week's game too. So I think this is a great pickup for the Steelers. Trace McSorley is not a bad quarterback at all. Which,
Well,
funny enough, he played. Trace McSorley was with the Cardinals, and then he was traded to like 15 different teams, and now he's with the Steelers, which they just got dominated by the Cardinals. So it's kind of funny when you think about it.
goes
Like
full circle, you know.
that. Yeah.
Well, one of the big reasons why I like this signing is because one of the common themes in football today is you need a backup quarterback because think about all the injuries. Even if you watch college, I mean, it's the same story. Heck, even a team even got held out of playoffs because of a starting quarterback going down. But we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about
Um,
the end of the site and the end of the
yep,
show. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But then Joe Burrow, goes down. Trevor Lawrence went down, which again we'll get more into that as
Kirk
we
Cousins went
progress.
down.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins for the season. They had to get Joshua Dobbs. I mean, here is if you only have one quarterback, you might
You're
be in
doomed.
for a world of hurt. Yeah.
You are doomed. But yeah, like you said, with trends so far in like this sort of 2020 era season, 2020 era football.
Oh, Anthony
Um,
Richardson too.
oh yeah, Anthony Richardson. Is that you're seeing? Oh, and Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, how could we
Just
forget?
just naming off every time you're like, oh, this and this and this and also that, yeah, and that. Um, but yeah, like this is ridiculous. The amount of people getting injured, but also the trend that we're also seeing in 2020. You brought up trends is that your people are recruiting, signing, or trading for these these NFL players that haven't really gotten the limelight that they really deserved, and anytime they've gotten a chance, they've showed out. Like we're seeing it with two come to mind is Josh Dobbs, obviously the most
Right.
the most prevalent case. And then we're seeing it also with Will Levis, the guy. He was projected to the first round draft pick, but then fell all the way to the second, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, second
Where,
round.
yeah, where the Titans picked him up. And then we seen him just absolutely ball out whenever he played. And even when the Titans are losing, like we saw this week, he's doing everything he can to win.
Well, and something too I want to bring up that's interesting while we're on this topic, you know, when you think about quarterbacks and the impact that they play, initially you're thinking, well, obviously you need somebody in the system to get it all right, but that's not what history has shown. Think about a year ago, Baker Mayfield came to the Rams and he was able to win a game with 6 days with the team. And then
No, not
Joshua,
even. It wasn't even six. It was like 24 hours with that
I
team.
thought it was 6 days.
No.
Okay. correct.
flew in, put a jersey on, then went to the stadium and balled out.
And then on top of that, we had a more recent example with Josh Dobbs, where he didn't even know any of the guys' names on his team, and yet he's still balling out and playing good. So, it really flips the trend on what you expect at a position like that.
Yeah. Also, Bengals Jake Browning when he balled out today. Not
Hats
today,
off
but
to that guy.
well, yeah, Monday. Um, I was so surprised.
Jay Beathard, another one for Jacksonville.
Yeah. So are we starting to see more of quarterback play that's like, how do I phrase this sort of? Is that you don't have to be the most prevalent named quarterback in the NFL to be like, oh yeah, you're really good. Like Joshua Dobbs in week 5 wasn't really known. Like, yeah, you knew Joshua Dobbs was the starting quarterback for the Cardinals since Kyler Murray was out. But now they went to the Vikings, and now he's like a top 15 quarterback
Well,
when no
there's
one knows
a
about him.
right, right. There's a saying that kind of comes to mind for me, and that saying is, you could take a penny and have it in America, and it would just be worth a penny. You could, go to a different spot in the world where, the penny would be more valuable and more valued. It's a little different of a saying, but uh, the point of it, and then it goes like to two other spots, and it just shows the more worth of that penny. Well, sometimes I feel like that's these quarterbacks that get overlooked because you have these are guys who are in the NFL. They're good, and a lot of times they're starting good, and we're starting to see that, and it is exciting to say the least. We are in a very exciting time in the NFL because now everybody kept going, well, what is going to be that big hit to the quarterback market? What is going to make quarterbacks stop getting paid all this money? This could be the thing. If we
Hmm.
get like guys like Trace McSorley, Josh Dobbs, if CJ Beathard continues to play well, Jake Browning continues to play well, people are going to look at this and go, well, you really don't need a quarterback that makes all this money. You can kind of go back and get some of these guys who are really good, you know?
Exactly. Speaking of quarterback situations on the NFL, one that I don't agree with personally, the Jets have released Tim Boyle after I
Why?
think he only played.
I'm sorry, why?
I don't know either. I wish I knew. I wish I knew, but I have no idea why. But yeah, he only played I think 2 games for them, and then he got booted out of the Jets team. Yeah, after 2 starts, Tim Boyle has been released.
See, and here's the crazy thing is like he wasn't that bad in either start. Like I know obviously, anybody could say like, "Oh, well, he didn't win any game." Sure, but you wouldn't win either if your first game was against Miami, which is a like ridiculous team for those of you who don't know. And he didn't do that bad against Miami. He had one touchdown. He got sacked 7 times. Count them, 7. Like, and you're gonna blame this guy. Yes, he did throw 2 picks, but again, I say to you,
People are
7
screaming in his face.
sacks, 7 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 12. And then let's actually no, I'm not gonna do this week's. We'll get to that. But he didn't play
Okay.
very bad in the Falcons game either. It just know that this was a stupid move.
Yeah, especially when you have a quarterback like Zach Wilson, supposed to be your starting quarterback, and it's just like a different scenario with him each week. Is it the team that's around him that's sucking? Is it him that sucks? Is it, like it's a different answer each week, and I'm kind of sick of it
To me,
because
the answer's obvious. I'm
Zach.
sorry. I mean, Zach Wilson's not good.
I
So,
know. I feel like a bully, but he isn't good, and I
oh,
can't help but feel bad for him. He wasn't supposed to be the starting quarterback. We all like Aaron Rodgers was the biggest move this year, like was the biggest trade this
right.
offseason. And then 4 snaps in, that Achilles goes out, and it it when you don't have especially Tim Boyle, he's a veteran of somewhat, and you don't have someone like that in your locker room, especially like in the quarterback position, and Zach Wilson's not doing good. Where do you go to? The punter?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, hey, why not? Give him a shot. Blame him as he gets sacked 7 times. I'm still not over that.
Yeah. Going on to the final piece of the NFL news, though. Shaquille Leonard, after being released by the Colts off of waivers, has signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. I like this move a lot. Not only is the Eagles' defense getting more insane as the year goes on through like just
Ridiculous.
pickups and trades and stuff like that, but now they're just adding an all-pro linebacker like Shaquille Leonard. Is this what they sort of it's hard to talk about
Well,
because they don't need it.
bring it in. Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
We gotta bring it in. We gotta
Okay.
talk real quick.
Bring it
Okay,
in.
so I want this to be known. Okay, how do the Eagles keep getting away with this? Okay, somebody has got to tell me how they keep getting away with this. Because think about it, this is not the first time. They got Kevin Byard from the Titans. By the way, he's a pretty good safety. That guy's kind of good. Why'd you
Eh,
do this, Titans?
he's okay. He's okay.
And then Colts. Why are you giving them Shaq Leonard? I mean, okay, listen. I know he hasn't been playing his best football, so you can make the argument. But here's the thing: now you pair him with Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Kevin Byard, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham. He's still in the league. I don't know how. Reed Blankenship, Darius Slay, Hassan Reddick. This Bradley Roby's here. He's good. I mean, this defense is now more better. And you got to think about this too. Shaq Leonard coming off the edge. That's right, the edge with Hassan Reddick. And
And
then, yeah, you
Jalen
got
Carter at
Carter,
DC.
Cox, and Davis in the middle. You're screwed. You have just screwed the whole NFL if he returns to form. We can bring it back out now, but I needed to get that off my chest. They
Okay.
cannot keep
Okay.
getting away with this. Who's next? Do they get like Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints next?
Might as well.
Oh my goodness, I'm mad.
Uh, but coming after this week's loss, though, to the 49ers, do you think this is what the Eagles need in that sort of secondary, not secondary, but just in the defensive positions?
Well, I definitely think it helps your case. I mean, you bring in a Pro Bowl level linebacker to pair with an amazing defense already, and let's just we got to pray for these quarterbacks who are going up against this defense because now it just got 20 times more dangerous if Shaq Leonard comes back to full prime, and if he doesn't, it's still got like 4 times more difficult, which is still pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely think that he's going to be in his. Last season he had freaking surgery. It's so stupid. You can't
Right.
expect a guy to come off of like pretty hefty surgery like that and be like Ray Lewis. Like
Exactly.
not even that. Just
Not
like
right away.
expect to play how he was originally,
Right.
especially when they released him like week 10, I think, wasn't it? So
I
sometime
forget,
around
but
that.
yeah, it's something like that.
It's like let a guy play a season on a little steady mode while he's recovering from surgery, and then next year he'll be even better. But that's just my thoughts about it. But we are going to hop into the week 13 NFL games now. Coming on a Thursday game, Thursday Night Football, the Seahawks surprisingly close game from the Seahawks to lose to the Cowboys, 35-14. Geno Smith had 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then 1 interception. And yet, the Legion of Boom is back, guys. You can really tell it here.
Look at that defense. Oh my goodness. So I will say DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf. He had the
yeah,
game of the year.
You think?
6 receptions, 134 yards, 3 touchdowns. That guy's kind of good.
Eh.
It's about time you used him, Seahawks. And then Geno Smith, like you were saying, he balled out, had a pretty good game. Zach Charbonnet, give it up for this guy. He was a
Yeah.
menace to
Mhm.
society. In that Legion of Boom defense. Oh my goodness,
No,
41
dude.
points. What an elite defense.
I know,
Um,
right?
Now, I will say this, give it up to Dak Prescott. He had a pretty good game. He was safe with the ball, 299 yards. CD Lamb, I mean, what more is there to say? He always has a good week. Jake Ferguson had some great catches. Braden Cooks, he had a touchdown. And then that defense, guys. All right, look, this is
Oh
the
yeah.
NFL. We should not be seeing 35
College.
to 41.
We should not be saying college scores right now.
Yeah, whoever's their defensive coordinator should be fired or at least have a severe talking to or go a week without pay, something, because this is sad.
They should be put in the timeout box.
Something. Yeah.
Hey, but can we give it up to the Cowboys though? They finally beat a team with a winning record because the Seahawks originally had a 6-5 record. Now they have a 6-6 record.
Way to go, boys.
Congratulations, Cowboys!
Young boys.
You beat a winning team. Man, I bet they feel so accomplished. You
They're
all
going
right?
to the Super Bowl.
Barely won a winning team. Also
Going to the Super Bowl.
going to the Super Bowl, man. It's such a proud team. Can't wait for them to sign Ezekiel Elliott again to play center.
Yes. I love it.
Going to the next game though, Saints versus Lions. The Lions, by the way, the Lions scored 21 points in the first 7 minutes.
Yikes.
And then did nothing else with the except a really good Jameson Williams touchdown. That was pretty. He was so fast with that touchdown.
I mean, this game was like Lions. How?
How'd you almost lose this game?
Not only how did you almost lose this game, how did you give up 28 to the Saints, bro? Like, I need therapy after this week, okay? How? They scored 15 on the Falcons. Okay? How did y'all do that? And then the week before that, well, they were on a bye, so they scored like 0 against the bye week. But before that, they played the Vikings. They scored 19. How did you give up 28 to this team? You might consider this a win. I don't. I'm embarrassed.
No, I consider this a win all the way.
I'm embarrassed.
I consider it a
That's all I
win.
gotta say.
I was really surprised when the Saints were like catching up. I was really surprised by that. But I feel like this was coming to like this is like this is the NFL moment for Sam Laporta. 9 receptions for 140 yards and 1 touchdown. Caught every ball that was targeted to him. And he played amazing out there in this game.
True.
Chris Olave on the Saints side also did really good. 5 receptions out of 8 targets with 119 yards. No touchdowns, though. That means Sam Laporta is a better receiver than Chris Olave. Fight me. No. I won't say
I was
that.
gonna say
But
it's a little bit of a different position.
Jared Goff continues to do really good, 16 out of 25 for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Jahmyr Gibbs got 60 yards, and David Montgomery got a lot more carries but less yards for 56 yards. But he'd also got a touchdown. Then Jameson Williams just got that touchdown.
Detroit, do we have to have this talk again? Why do you not give the ball to the guy who has the hotter hand? Like, Jahmyr Gibbs literally did more with less, and you're like, let's continue to give it to Montgomery. Like, I don't get play calling. I never will.
I am happy that they're. I know that Dave Montgomery got a lot more. You got 10 more carries, but I'm happy that they're still finding ways for it not to be so over. It's not like Jahmyr Gibbs got like 3 and Dave Montgomery got like 40. You know, it's nothing that major. So I'm happy that they're still finding ways to balance out.
Jacob, what team runs the ball 48 times?
I know. I'm just that was an extreme example, but that was yeah. You know what I mean.
I do.
It's not like Dave Montgomery is doing it like 15, 20 more times with the ball.
Only 10.
Yeah, only 10. Going on to this is probably the hardest I've ever seen a quarterback play in a while. The Titans versus the Colts. Will Levis threw an interception. This is the highlight of the week. He threw an interception and then sprinted up the O line.
He didn't throw a pick.
Yes, he did.
No.
Hold on. Did you not see the game?
No, it literally says right here, no interceptions.
Let me hold on. It wasn't counted as an interception. Because what he did, you didn't see it?
No.
Dude, you have to. It's freaking incredible. He threw an interception and then tackled the guy that picked the ball off and then made him fumble and then pick the ball back up. And then it was counted as a first down. I've never seen a quarterback do that before. And that was incredible to watch. I cannot believe you didn't. I'm kind of disappointed in you, Cole.
Dude, I can't watch every game. I only get like 3 games. Yeah, I only get like 3 games a week due to Hulu's stupidity.
I'll show you. I'll show you after. But yeah, it wasn't counted as an interception. And I wonder if he gets a tackle or something on here. Does he?
Let's see. Not that I see.
I'm trying to see. Hold on. Dang it. Indianapolis defense. I hate the stats sheets. Anyway,
but
this game was pretty entertaining. It went into overtime. Surprisingly, the Titans actually missed a field goal from pretty close. So I'm kind of upset. I was rooting for the Titans in this one. I'm not a big like Titans fan, but I do I like a lot of players on the team. I like Derrick Henry, which he did really good this game.
Yes, he did.
21 carries for 102 yards, pretty solid. Then Will Levis being a dog. And then DeAndre Hopkins, actually the number 1 receiver for this game. 5 receptions out of 12 targets for 75 yards. Yeah, that's a pretty big differential.
Well, I will say, kind of going back to what I said earlier about this Colts team, they just play with heart and they always find wacky ways to win. That they're the Washington of pro football. Like, quite literally, they're the Washington Huskies. They just find wacky ways to win, or they lose in a heartbreaking way. They never get blown out.
That kind of reminds me of like the Eagles going almost undefeated and be like, "Oh, who's the 2-1 team you lost to? The Commanders." What's the record? Oh, like 4-12. Yeah,
that was amazing.
Nothing too bad.
Nothing too awful.
But yeah, I found this game pretty entertaining. Kind of sad to see. I'm starting to feel like a Bryce Young situation going on for Will Levis for some reason, because he's trying so hard to have this team win, and then he wills his team down in the red zone. He gets a touchdown, and then his kicker just has to make a field goal in a different drive, and then he whiffs it, and then goes into overtime. Then the Colts kick a field goal, and that's the end of the game.
Well, and I will say this too, and they struggle, but for different reasons. Bryce Young struggles because it's Bryce Young, and there's like not a whole lot of help. I mean, there you have some guys, but not a lot. And then for Will Levis, he struggles because nobody knows how to handle a quarterback like that at Tennessee, which is an absolute travesty, a Jordan travesty.
Yeah. Oh my
We'll
God.
get into that
Don't
later.
ever say that again. But overall, I found this game quite entertaining. Congratulations, Gardner Minshew, too, continuing to be a great replacement for Anthony Richardson after his concussion. Like
Yep.
he's killing in Indianapolis, so I'm happy for him.
Hey, that's another backup who has taken the league by storm.
Yeah, but he's been in there for a couple of years.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been in there for a couple of years. Going on to the next game though. I don't want to talk about this game. I really
We are obligated.
Patriots versus Chargers.
It's so
Put on your smile, everybody. The Patriots and Chargers game is on.
Okay, so
I
I got a few comments to start, if you don't mind.
go ahead. Do you want me to bring
Okay,
it
here. Yeah. You see, no. Okay, we're not gonna bring it in this time because I'm gonna say the same thing I say every week, so it's not that special. Fire Brandon Staley. Yeah, I don't know how many more times I have to say this, but let's say it again. Fire Brandon Staley. Thank you. Okay, so that is the first order of business. I feel like I say it every week because I practically do. This game was boring. Really, really. I mean, not even a flashback to a good defensive game. Like, I wish I could say it was a good defensive game. It really wasn't. I mean, Patriots,
even
they hung in
even
there.
like 2009 Steelers and like the 2000s Ravens could not have a game this low scoring.
Picture this too. 14 carries for 18 rushing yards. It hurts.
It hurts my head. I just, how do you not get a touchdown? I get the Patriots defense is good. That's probably the only good factor in this team in the Patriots. But how don't you score a few? Oh my God! How don't you score a touchdown? You have Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson. It hurts my head so much, Cole.
I feel this, bro. I mean, oh my goodness, these are NFL.
Like it's a win. Like yeah, it's a win, but it shouldn't. This is not a win. This is not a win.
If both teams could lose a game, this would be that game.
This deserves to be a tie, honestly. And you shouldn't be tying. You shouldn't be tying the Chargers with the 2-10 Patriots. Which this is their third time in a row being scoreless, I think.
Wow.
Patriots, you're horrible. You were never good now. Now we know. Tom Brady, come back to the Patriots.
Get this awful.
I really can't talk about this game any longer.
Get this off the screen.
Let's talk about a game of touchdowns. Uh,
Yay!
Jets versus Falcons. That should never be a thing to be
I'm
excited
still
about.
sick.
I still have that bad taste in my mouth. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets technically didn't score a touchdown in this game either.
It's a touchdown was scored on either side.
Yes.
We got to see Tim Boyle's last game as a Jet here, throwing for 14 out of 25 with 1 interception, 0 touchdowns. Desmond Ritter got the 1 touchdown, 12 out of 27. Both quarterbacks did not do good, except for Desmond Ritter's 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson got 18 carries for 53 yards. Kyle Pitts is their number 1 receiver with 51 yards. How did the Falcons win this game?
Because they're playing the Jets. I have no other answer. I mean, oh my goodness. We got to see Trevor Siemian back at quarterback. Oh.
Okay.
So bad.
So when we started the week recap, it was like pretty high scoring games that were pretty, competitive and solid, and then they're depressing now. Like, this is the middle gap where they're depressing and just sad to talk about because nothing happens in them.
No, these were awful.
Dalvin Cook got 35 yards. That's something.
Hey.
Xavier Gibson was the number 1 receiver for the Jets in this game.
How many rushing yards? Brees Hall?
Brees Hall got 16.
How many attempts, though? I'm sure it was like 1.
13.
I had to take my headset off for that one. Just unbelievable. Yeah, Xavier Gibson, though, 5 receptions, 77 yards. I mean, at least he was positive. I mean, can we just not?
Yeah, go to the next game,
please.
Talk about how you need to fire Mike Tomlin with this game. The week after the Steelers the 2 weeks the game after they fired Mike Canada, they lost to the Cardinals, scoring 10 points when let me get back into professional mode here.
Yep.
Okay, I'm back into professional mode here. But yeah, the Steelers scored 10 points against the Cardinals, getting 20. How do you let this Steelers defense, get 24 points off from the Cardinals, the 3-10 Cardinals?
I genuinely am trying to piece it together.
Kyler Murray did impressively average with 13 of 23 for 145 yards with 1 touchdown. We got to see Mitch Trubisky out there throwing the ball, got 11 out of 17 for 117 yards with 1 touchdown. Najee Harris getting 16 carries for 63 yards. No touchdowns, though. Number 1 receiver for the Steelers was George Pickens for 4 receptions for 86 yards. Out of all, Kenny Pickett, that was really bad when he went down, and you had to have Mitch Trubisky out there. Question is Kenny Pickett going down the reason why they lost this game?
Oh, that's such a tough question to ask because, I don't know. Because if he was in the game, I mean, that's what's so tough about this. I mean, the butterfly effect always kind of goes different, if one thing's altered. So, I don't know. I think they could have because he was, having a pretty good day. He was 7 for 10 with 70 yards. Like, I don't know. I don't think QB play was necessarily the killer here. I just think it's kind of like
the defense for the Steelers.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing here. You let James Conner, which I don't think is a bad running back, but he's still a Cardinals running back, get 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. How do you let that happen? I'm sorry, Steelers, but you should not be this bad. You have a pretty Hall of Fame, I would say, head coach with you with Mike Tomlin. I would say that, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Even though he hasn't won a Super Bowl, right?
No, he won one.
He did with who? The Steelers?
Yeah, it was 2010 with
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
beat the Cardinals.
Oh, perfect. Perfect example right here.
How
Man,
about that?
2010 Super Bowl rematch. This is how it ends up.
You see, they wanted revenge for the Super Bowl, so that's what
Yeah,
compelled
yeah.
them. Also, Trey McBride, man, give it up to him. 8 receptions, 89 yards. He's a tight end, and y'all made him look like Travis Kelce.
And Marquise Brown.
Don't get me started.
Good old Hollywood Brown. If he was in Madden, he'd be down to a normal development.
Yeah. It's not even close.
3 targets. 3. Everyone else got 2 to 3, but Marquise got 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns.
It's so bad, but it's so funny.
No, it's not.
I'm laughing
No,
out of
it's not.
sadness.
This is like Devontae Adams, an early Raider this season, early Raiders team this season. I want Marquise Brown to be like Devontae Adams, just like always getting mad for no.
Maybe it'll change the culture. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe they'll get rid of Mike Tomlin and then they'll start. He's still great. Not Mike Tomlin.
I was gonna say what?
Maybe he should get rid of the guy from Impractical Jokers and the Cardinals.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, he looks like the dude from Impractical Jokers. Maybe if they get rid of him, he'll start getting receptions and then a lot more yards and touchdowns, and then he'll be, hitting cigars in the locker room and dancing. I love that video of Devontae Adams. That's my favorite video this year. That's like the Kirk O'Chain one from last season.
I was not expecting to go here, but yeah, that's beautiful.
But yeah, Steelers, you have a lot of work to do if you're wanting to go deep in the playoffs like this. You are probably going to get in the playoffs with 7-5 record so far in this season, but not if you keep on losing games like this, especially to the Cardinals. Going on to the next game, though, Dolphins utterly stomping another team that is not good. I really want the Dolphins to have a tougher schedule because it's so hard to predict whether they're a good team or not. They're exactly like the Cowboys in the sense that they have a really good roster. You have a pretty good quarterback. You have really good wide receivers. You have a you have a pretty good defense. All around the board is really good. And then they struggle against a lot of teams with winning records. And you see their schedule and I go, oh, none of the people that they face have winning records. So this is going to be a really tough year to judge, what type of team they are.
Well, my
You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, my question coming into this game is like, what are we going to see? Because Sam Howell was like, on fire for a while, and then he hit what's the word? Hit a wall, in other words, and that went horrible. And then he plays the Dolphins, which is the Cowboys of the AFC, which is the exact same team he got killed by on Thanksgiving. And well, history repeated itself. I mean, he played okay, but the Dolphins just, well, they skull
The
dragged him.
Dolphins did the Dolphins things.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Dolphins them. Oh,
Jesus.
man.
Both of Tua Tagovailoa's touchdowns went to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill got 5 receptions for a 157 yards.
Wow.
5 like people get 5 receptions and get like 20 yards maybe. Tyreek Hill got 5 with 157 out of 7 targets. His average was 31.4 yards. Tyreek Hill. You know, what is he looking like? Because I want to see if he's going to break 2,000 yards.
He definitely has the potential to do so.
Right now, he has 1,481 yards. So it's week 13. He has 4 games left. Plus, would him in the postseason be count towards this season's stats?
I don't believe so. I believe it's different, if I'm
I
not
don't know.
mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because
I was gonna say
he would have
somebody
to
in the
put on a
comments.
master
Feel free
class
to,
to let us know. Because
yeah.
with 4 games left, you would have to put on a master class to get to 2,000.
Which is possible. I mean, he's
Yeah,
playing
it's
the
definitely
Titans.
possible for him.
Titans kind
He
of
might
suck.
break 2,000 in that game. I'm not gonna.
Just every play, throw it to Tyreek. I don't care if he's got 5 people on him. Just throw it to him. Let him.
He needs about 500 more yards. So he needs to get like 200 yards a game for the rest of the
That's
season.
doable.
Basically. It's doable. I just imagine it's like he imagines like week 17. Or it's like the last game of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
He needs like 10 more yards to break Calvin Johnson's record. And then it's like it's like the first quarter, right? He needs like 5 more yards to get Calvin Johnson's record. And then he like goes down with an injury.
Oh, that would suck. Or he needs 1 more yard.
He needs 1 more yard. Tua snaps the ball off and then it's incomplete.
He starts short arming every throw again.
What's more of an accomplishment? Breaking Calvin Johnson's record or getting 2,000 yards?
Obviously, I think it depends on where you are, but I'd say getting 2,000.
I think, as a Detroit fan, I personally don't want him to break Calvin Johnson's record. As a Detroit homer, like I don't want him to, but I still like. I also like Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't be, if it was going to be any receiver, I'm glad it's him.
Right.
It's not like Juju Smith-Schuster getting 2,000.
You do a TikTok dance on the midfield logo.
He gets a Calvin Johnson jersey and does a TikTok dance on top of it.
No.
That's his type of freaking thing. I don't know how we're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster. But yeah, this is like a really good receiving class for Miami, though.
Oh yeah.
I've been just struggling to find good ways to like judge the Dolphins because I really can't. They either are really good and then the next week they lose to the Bills. Like not even closely, it's just like badly, and I can't decide. Oh, we got to see Mike White play for a little bit.
Yes. We need the Dolphins to verse
and the
Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Yes.
The beating bad team Super Bowl. Oh, that'd be amazing. Going on to the next game though. Broncos winning streak comes to an end. Russell burnt the food.
Broncos country,
Russ burnt.
let's cry.
Hey, I'm not gonna make fun of the Broncos for this one. Texans are a pretty solid team. Unfortunately, in this game though, I don't know if you saw, but Tank Dell, rookie wide receiver for the Texans, went down for a season-ending injury. I think it was something with his. I think it was with something with his ankle or something on his foot or something like that. But yeah, we really hope. He was having a really good season, and I'm pretty upset that he got hurt, and we hope he gets a speedy recovery, gets ready for next year. But yeah, overall, both teams played really, really good. Denver going unanswered in the first quarter, then scoring 3 in the second quarter, while Houston already has 13, and then almost catching up to them. But it wasn't enough for the Texans to pull out with the victory here, ending the 5-game winning streak for Denver. Russell Wilson, he did pretty okay. 15 for 26 to 186 yards. Never mind. He didn't do good.
You just had to do it to him.
He burnt the food. He burnt. The kitchen's smoking. Why is there smoke coming out of the kitchen? 3 interceptions. 1 touchdown. 3 interceptions. CJ Stroud got to throw 69 for 27 with 274 yards and 1 touchdown. Continues to put on that Rookie of the Year voting, which I think he's going to win. I think
should be Puka Nacua, but I mean, hey, whatever.
Yeah, but he's putting on a masterclass like every week. Javonte Williams got to see. Wait.
Does this guy know anything? Come on.
I keep on noticing stuff in the stat sheet. Russell Wilson had 3 less carries than Javonte Williams, and they got pretty close yards too. Yeah, they got pretty close, 2 yards away from matching. Cortland Sutton doing good. Russell Wilson, not Russell. Jerry Jeudy continues to. I'm continuing to I don't I just feel bad. I'm not gonna talk about. I don't want to talk about Russell Wilson. We trashed on him last year, all season. All season, we were just talking bad about him. I won't talk about him a lot this year if he does bad, because he's doing pretty good all around this year. Jerry Jeudy continues to be a Jag. Might as well move to the Jaguars, dude. But yeah, Tank Dell isn't even on the receiving things.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Can we talk too about Derek Stingley, bro? Last 3 weeks, he's had 4 picks. Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
LSU,
oh,
baby.
Yeah.
Draft that DBU. I'm just saying, little glimmer. I mean, hey, this is what you get.
Exactly. Which, by the way, ESPN, why don't you add a pick, an interception counter for the defensive?
Exactly.
When you look at the stat sheets, that's really annoying. So please, do you see Houston being, because currently they're in third place. Well, they're tied in second place, sort of, with 7-5 with Indianapolis. Do you see them going to second place or maybe even first place?
Well, oh man, that's going the rest of the schedule. I think it's definitely possible because
I think they'll be in second place.
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely they got a shot because Indy, they got Cincinnati this upcoming week, and that's going to be a tougher game than people give credit. And the Texans, they got the Jets. Okay, I mean, they're not losing to the Jets. There's no way. And watch them
they get
lose
blown
next
out. Zach Wilson, 17 touchdowns.
Sets a record.
Every quarterback record that could be broken in a single season is broken in this one game by Zach Wilson.
Masterclass.
If that happens, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay.
If that happens, I will be so upset with you because I don't like Zach Wilson. So if something monumental happens with Zach Wilson next week, I will be really upset with you.
All right. I'm just quick comments though about this game. I mean, both teams kind of played well, but the Broncos definitely handed this to the Texans in the end. 3 picks. You're not going to win a game with 3 picks.
Yeah.
So shake it off, Broncos, and answer back next week.
Keep cooking.
Exactly. Let him cook.
But don't let him cook until he gets 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Don't let him cook that much. Going on to the next game, though, Panthers continue to lose. Not surprising, but the Bucks finally get
shock.
the Bucks finally get the win. Bucks, how are you letting the Panthers score 18 points on you? Bucks, you have a good defense. You have Vita Vea. You have Vita Vea.
No.
You have Vita Vea.
No, they don't.
But on all right, your defensive roster is pretty good, and it's definitely not bad enough to let the Panthers be scoring 18 points on you. I am shocked, but I'm happy that the Bucks finally got a win. Are you also happy?
Man, I mean that they get a win, yeah, technically, but the way it happened, I'm more so. Again, this is another game that I'd count more so a loss than a win. So, um, I'm more disappointed in the Bucks not bearing Carolina like they should have, and not to mention, where was the run defense? They gave up 133 yards and 2
To
TDs
Chuba
on the
Hubbard.
ground.
To
Terrible.
Chuba Hubbard. Man, aren't you glad that I traded him? I traded for him with Aaron Jones.
Dude, it was the dumbest trade at the time, and now it's
Hey.
actually looking good.
Exactly,
Doesn't
I'm
make
telling
any
you.
sense.
Because I okay, when that happened, I was like, dude, Aaron Jones is injured like every other week. I'd rather have a running back play and get like 3 points than not a running back at all. And you're like, no, dude, that's stupid. And then isn't Aaron Jones out for like the season or something like that? I think I seen.
I didn't hear for the season, but yeah, he definitely had some.
He's out for a long week, long months a
a
week.
long
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Long week.
Brutal injury update on
Oh.
Aaron Jones.
Giving you the floor.
Giving me the floor.
Yeah, you said brutal update. Sounds brutal.
They don't give an update. What the heck, man?
All right, but
against the Giants, there's a chance that he can make the injury worse, which results in being knocked out for the remainder of the season. So he will be out for a couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm telling you, that was a really smart trade on me.
Yeah, I mean, I never doubted you.
But Mike Evans also broke 1,000 yards for this season for the 10th year in a row. Congratulations, Mike Evans. You are officially the best wide receiver of all time. No. He is really good, though. Getting 7 receptions for 162 yards and 1 touchdown, with 75 yards being the longest.
Rachaad White was your second leading wideout, bro, and he's a running back. 3 receptions for 22 yards.
I'm gonna predict something.
Go for it.
If the Bucks don't draft with 5 and 7, they're probably gonna get a mid first round pick, right?
Probably.
So if they don't draft someone great, a good tight end or a really good wide receiver, they will be bottom of the barrel next year.
You heard it here
I
first,
believe
folks.
they if they don't draft a good wide receiver, because they're getting rid of Mike Evans. Mike Evans is gone. They didn't sign a contract with him. He will be gone.
GG, get quick scope, nerd.
Yeah, he's going to Baltimore. I hope so. But yeah, if you're Rachaad, if your running back is your second best receiver, something's going on with that team. That's gonna be my take, is that if Tampa Bay does not get a really, really good wide receiver or a really, really good tight end in this draft, then they will be bottom of the barrel, scraping by.
I
Um,
like that.
but yeah, Bryce Young getting one interception for 178 yards, 15 out of 31. Got sacked 4 times.
I don't want to rant anymore.
Rest in peace, Bryce Young. That's all we'll say.
Yeah, just R.I.P. Sadness.
He
You're
was
ruining
this
him.
team was still able to get some touchdowns though, with Chuba Hubbard getting 25 carries, 104 yards with 2 touchdowns. Glad I picked him up in fantasy.
Never doubted you.
Oh yes, you did. I told you, like, dude, you got fleeced, bro. You got fleeced. That's what you said.
I mean, at the time, it did look like a fleece. I'm just being honest.
I was getting so sick of Aaron Jones. Going on to the next game though, Matt Stafford. We love to see a Matt Stafford win, at least for me. Beating the Browns 36-19. This is definitely not the number one defense that they were talking about the
No.
last earlier in the season. This is not it. We got to see Joe Flacco also coming back to the NFL with 23 out of 44 and 254 yards with 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad for pretty old guy in Joe Flacco. Kind of upset to see him playing for a division rival, but it's okay.
So I want to say this. Browns, you let him get sacked twice. He is like the age of a grandpa, okay? We need to protect him and not let him die.
You
Yeah.
literally need to do a QB run and then just have a big circle around him and then just run the ball and then have everyone move with him.
Yes.
That's what you need to do. But yeah, I find this game was actually pretty entertaining, despite the big like score gap I see. But Matthew Stafford, 22 out of 37 for 279 yards with 3 touchdowns and 0 picks. And then Puka Nakua,
Who's that guy?
who is that guy? Being the number one receiver for this game with 4 receptions, 105 yards. What's up with this week in low receptions for amazing yards?
But rest assured, he's not the rookie of the year because X Y Z Z Y. But no, I agree, man. It's so weird. Like we're seeing the less receptions you get, the better yardage you get, and I'm very baffled.
Yeah. Cooper Cup is dropping down a lot in this season. Like it is just dropping in value as I'm seeing it. Getting 6 receptions for 39 yards. You have Demarcus Robinson getting more receptions than you, with getting more yards with less receptions also.
Wow.
Yeah, but each of the 3 receivers got 1 touchdown, courtesy to Matt Stafford, the great and holy Matt Stafford. We miss you.
I'm killed. I'm dead.
Can you tell that I miss him?
Just a little bit.
Kyron Williams also getting 21 carries for 88 yards and then 1 touchdown. This Rams team is looking pretty good. I know it's the Browns, right? I know that the Browns aren't a great team, but from what the Rams were last year to going 6-6, that's really good improvement as far as I see it.
So I have a question for you. Do you think the Rams are going to be a wild card team this year?
They're currently second there. I think they're going to stay second in their division. I don't see the Seahawks beating them in the divisions.
I like that.
So if they stay second in their division, I see them being a 7th seed. Do I see them going deep? No. I think they're
Me
going to get
neither.
first rounded. But that does show promise for a pretty young team that we are seeing, in my opinion.
And if I was them, I would trade Cooper Cup at the end of the year. I mean, he's like he was great. He did a lot for you. But try and get what you can. I mean, if somebody's willing to trade you like pretty good stuff for him, like even a
Yeah.
second or a first rounder, like take the money and run, boys.
If you were okay,
Mhm.
all right. Let's say you're the Patriots,
Okay.
or let's just say any team actually, and you see the Rams make a trade package of Aaron Donald and Cooper Cup. What do you get? What are you going to give them?
Okay, so that really depends on like the team I am, first and foremost, because like if I'm a team that's like, the Eagles or the Niners
I'm
or
not. I won't look into that. No, no, no. No. But I'm talking about
well,
like, let's just stick to the Patriots right now, though.
okay.
And then you see that trade package. What are you gonna? What would you give up? A
Well,
first?
hold on, hold on. So, well, considering New England is like tanking, or well, not admitting to it, but like basically that's what they're doing. I would give nothing. But if I had to give something, this is how like little of interest I would really care. I'd probably give like a seventh round pick, which I mean, that's not obviously what anybody wants to hear, and it's not very entertaining, but it's truthful. Like if I'm New England, why would I get another old guy to come die in New England? Like just does that make sense? Like Aaron Donald, he's gonna retire shortly. Cooper Cup is very far away from his game, and adding him to this dumpster fire would not be good for anybody. Um, so yeah, I mean, if I had to give something a seventh rounder, but if I could, I would give nothing.
Okay, I'd at least give like a second if I saw that package come and I needed a star wide receiver and a really really good defensive lineman. To
Well,
me,
yeah, but when the D lineman's gone, starting next year, I mean, it's kind of pointless.
he's not that old.
Yeah, but he's admitted, like, at least from what I remember, like he was considering retiring, and anytime you get a consideration, maybe you get 2 more years out of a player if you're lucky.
Yeah, but we also see that with like Jason Kelsey, and he's still here.
True. True.
um, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to see if what that question was for you. Going to the beatdown of the century. This is the NFC rematch, NFC Championship rematch back from last year, which last year the Eagles beat the 49ers, but this year it is so different. When I tell you that it's different, you better believe me. 49ers put 42 points up against the Eagles with 19.
So wait, I
We're this
wanna.
elite.
I need this. I
Hold on.
need this.
Good go.
Trust me. Bring it in. We need to talk right now. Bring it in. Okay. So remember a week ago, and Jacob, you were here for this. I mean, it was me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what we talked about here in terms of the Brock Purdy argument, right? People were saying, and still are, he's a system quarterback. He's no good. He's trash. And remember what we said coming into this game. You can go back to the other show. We said, you asked the question, what if he has like the best quarterback game ever? What if he like dots everybody up, throws no incompletion, has a perfect QBR, has like a lot of touchdowns? And remember what we said about how that was going to happen, or something of that nature. Well, guess what? It
It
didn't.
happened.
So please keep typing about how, oh no, he's just a system quarterback. He's not any good. He threw 4 touchdowns. One, two, three, 4 touchdowns against the best defense in the NFL. Is he still a system quarterback? No.
No.
Please, can we stop with this crap? What more does he got to do? He played the best defense in America and only threw 8 incompletions. He got sacked 2 times, so that way y'all can't use the excuse, "Oh, well, with that line, I would have done that good too against that defense." Um, and on top of that, he was just electric. I mean, he had 2 rushes for 9 yards, 19 for 27 with 314 on the Eagles, and 4 passing touchdowns. I mean, at this point, I give up with you people. I truly do. What more does he got to do? I just want to know, like, what does he got to do next?
Cole, he has to break every record for a single season quarterback in this in 2 games. He has to get more rushing yards than a QB, more passing yards than a QB each
I
season.
forgot.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just had to
Dang.
remind you. He has to get more receptions than the best wide receiver of all time. He has to get more rushing touchdowns than the best running back of all time.
Move aside, Barry Sanders.
Brock Purdy's in.
I mean, I just hope that people start using their minds correctly and stop with this. Oh, he's a system quarterback. He's only as good because he had XYZ to throw to. Just please stop. You look ignorant.
What more can I even say? I can actually talk about the game though.
That's true.
Like Cole said, Brock Purdy put on a masterclass. 19 for 27 with 314 touchdowns and 4 touchdowns. I said touchdowns when I said 314. Did I? 314 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Should have had 5 touchdowns.
Should have had 5 if he actually did something with the ball. So stupid.
So bad.
Sam Darnold has a rushing stat for this game. I just noticed. 1 carry for -1 yards.
That's my quarterback.
See, a true not system quarterback in Sam Darnold right here.
He got negative. What did Purdy do? Oh, so bad. So bad.
Some important news from this game, though. We did see Jalen Hurts go down with an injury. I think it was in the 4th quarter. I think I seen.
That's why Purdy's not good.
Yeah, that's why Purdy won. And the refs made the 49ers win too with 42-19. But they are debating whether to sit him out for next week, and I think they should.
Yeah,
with a team like this, to have your guy be Marcus Mariota, you don't want. You do not want that. Jalen Hurts, I don't know why they did not run this football. Jalen Hurts had 45 attempts out of the 26 completions that he had. 298 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah. And then he actually has more rushing yards than DeAndre Swift this game. DeAndre Swift had only 6 carries. 6. Philly, are you trying to break Jalen's arm or something? Why are you making him throw the ball 45 times when you have DeAndre Swift, which is he's proven himself that he's been, top 10 running back easily, in my opinion. I think, at least. Would you agree?
I think you'd definitely be close to that.
Exactly. So having DeAndre Swift, even Kenneth Gain, like anybody in your running back room, just hand the ball to him. He will get yards. I get it. He's only had 6 carries, 13 yards, and you've seen people get like 1 for 300. But it's, I did not understand the play calling to have Jalen Hurts throw for 45 attempts. It's just
what was Nick Sirianni thinking? Like, what was the game plan this week? Like,
I don't know.
When they got their game plan, was it just like, hey guys, everybody else, especially running backs, just chill, and we're gonna watch Jalen Hurts just keep chucking the ball? Like,
We also got to see, again, probably the best D-line in football in the 49ers sack Jalen Hurts 3 times. Which, considering Jalen Hurts is pretty an elusive quarterback in the pocket sometimes, getting sacked 3 times is pretty big, especially with this O-line considered to be the best O-line in football today, and Jalen Hurts. That's pretty impressive. AJ
9
Brown. Oh yeah, and 9 QB hits as well. AJ Brown getting 8 receptions for 114 yards. It happens again, Cole.
Every game.
Devontae Smith also got it in some of the action with 9 receptions for 96 yards. Then DeAndre Swift got 2 receptions for 7 yards out of the 6 targets that he had. Man,
Like I said, we're just gonna watch Jalen Hurts throw. We don't need any running backs for this game. Just wing it.
I did not understand the game plan at all, and he
Me
also
neither.
fumbled the ball too. But then they recovered it. But it's so crazy.
Let's move on to Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend showing up to Lambeau today. It's proven Taylor Swift hates Travis Kelce. That's why they lost the game today. Taylor Swift cheated on Travis Kelce. We all know it. That's why they lost against Lambeau.
Jordan Love, man.
This is where I'm going to give my shout out to the week. Shout out to the fan that showed up with a Kansas City jersey and a cheese grater on his head. Shout out to that fan being. I don't know how no one has thought about that yet. I wish I did. I have never seen that though.
No,
Patrick Mahomes throwing for 21 out of 33, 210 yards with 1 TD and 1 interception. What that interception? What a throw by Mahomes, dude! What a throw!
Mahomes is so inspirational.
Throwing the interception, man. No, not a lot of quarterbacks can do that these days.
Facts.
Jordan Love outclassed Patrick Mahomes in this game.
Wasn't
Jordan Love, and again, this is some of the best defense we've seen out of Kansas City in a while, in terms of this season. So Jordan Love is playing against a really good Kansas City defense, throwing 25 out of 36 for 267 yards with 3 touchdowns. Jordan Love is popping off right now in Green Bay, and I'm kind of happy to see it. I know as a Detroit fan, you're like, what? You can't be happy to see it. I'll be happy when they're gone. When Aaron Rodgers is gone. Aaron Rodgers' last throw as a Packer was an interception to Detroit. So I'm happy. And they're still third and technically tied in second with 9-6. Detroit's still number 1. And that,
you know the meme that's like the masculine urge to shout "we back."
Like that's Green Bay right now.
That is.
They were projected to go third, maybe last, but nah, they might go second if Josh Dobbs doesn't pack up, doesn't impress us again.
And he is not in a great trend at the moment. Hopefully, coming off the bye week, that'll help him.
Yeah, maybe he'll learn more of his teammates' names.
I was not ready for that.
Can we give a shout out to Isaiah Pacheco though? Getting 18 carries for 110 yards and 1 touchdown. That's insane. I know that's a lot of carries, but still, you see people carry the ball 30 times and get maybe 50 yards. But exactly 110 yards and 1 touchdown. And then for Kansas City's receiving, you got Travis Kelce.
No, Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Sorry. Taylor Swift's boyfriend. 4 receptions for 81 yards, no touchdowns. The only receiver to get a touchdown in this game was Noah Gray.
Oh.
I think he's their backup tight end. They drafted him 2021 is the 162nd pick. He has 2 touchdowns in the season, and this is one of them.
Yeah, first one came
Who's
from
Noah
line.
Gray? Who's Noah Gray?
And remember earlier on in the year when Chiefs fans were like, "Oh, we got Noah Gray as our backup. We don't care if Kelsey's here." I don't think they'd
Nah,
say the same.
that's pretty bad. Travis Kelsey getting 4 receptions. Sorry, Taylor Swift's boyfriend getting 4 receptions, 81 yards. Rasheed Rice getting 8 for 64. No touchdowns. This is weird. This is weird. Not seeing any touchdowns, and then all the way at the bottom, you see Noah Gray with 2 yards and 1 touchdown. Um. But
Noah
yeah,
Gray's
AJ
elite.
Dillon did good. Patrick Taylor did okay. And then receiving team, Romeo
Dobbs.
Dobbs getting 4 receptions, 72 yards. Christian Watson getting 7 for the same amount of yards, except one off. But yeah, I call this game pretty entertaining. I'm happy to see a Kansas City lose. Overall, just a great game. Going to the last game of Week 13 though, Jaguars versus the Bengals. We did see in this game Trevor Lawrence go down with an injury. He was seen getting escorted into the locker room with 2 people, presumed to be an ankle sprain, and no other tests came up positive. So it's just hoping to be an ankle sprain. But definitely let him sit out a few weeks. You don't want to aggravate
Absolutely.
that even more. Yeah. Um. Overall in this game, though, dude, Jake Browning. What a turnout for Jake Browning. I cannot believe I fully went in on Jaguars destroying the Bengals. So after this, seeing Jake Browning beat the Jaguars, do you have hope in this Bengals team maybe reaching the playoffs?
I do. I think this team, they still have a lot to play for, and Jake Browning's not an awful quarterback. I mean, I got to watch him in college, and he was never all that bad. He made some really good throws, and now on top of that, again, another case of a guy who didn't get a chance is now getting a chance and is owning the chance. 354 yards. And it's not against
Yeah,
a slouch either. So yeah,
no,
I definitely think this team can shock some people and maybe even, make a divisional, possibly even an AFC championship.
no, no. All right, I'll agree on you with making the playoffs. I'm not agreeing with you on that. No, 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 no. Because
Beat the Lions
if
in
they
the
do
Super Bowl.
make the playoffs, usually they play the Bengals in the playoffs. No, they usually
What?
the Bengals. Hold on, hold on. Usually the Bengals and Ravens are in the playoffs facing each other
Right.
in the wild card. But no,
The Bengals play the Bengals.
Bengals game every day, man. It's always a fight within themselves. It's the battle they have to win.
Why was
Uh,
that like? It sounded
kind of
like
in,
the Pokemon or song. The world we must defend.
um the only receiver to get a touchdown today though was Jamar Chase with 11 receptions for 149 yards and 1 touchdown. What
Wow.
this game shows me is that Jacksonville's defense has to step up in a lot of ways. That's what this game shows me. Did you see the play of I think yeah, it was Jamar Chase getting, the dude was literally on top of him, and Jamar Chase still caught it and then ran it in for the touchdown.
Yeah,
Like that
Chase is
was
a
really
freak.
bad to see. Hmm. Not well, yeah, that, but also that should not have been caught.
Oh yeah,
That like any other cornerback, I don't even know who was guarding him, but that was really pitiful to have that be like your time to shine. And then he completely mosses. It wasn't even a moss. It's just you didn't block the ball. And then Joe Mixon also got some receiving yards with 6 receptions, 49 yards, and then he also got 19 carries for 68 with 2 touchdowns. So is Jake Browning your franchise quarterback?
No, no, Joe Burrow for sure. But yeah, for now, yeah, I mean Browning's really turning some heads, and he might, earn a bag, per se, if he ends up hitting free agency.
Now I say this. So you have Jake. So let's say Jake Browning does this like all season, the rest of the season.
Right.
He does freaking amazing all season. Somehow gets away into the playoffs. What do you do with him? You can't have
Win.
him be. Yeah, like I get that. But like next season comes, Joe Burrow's in, and then he just sits behind Joe Burrow for the rest of his career, or do you trade him?
Depends on what people are offering to answer that.
I'll give you a second round pick for Jake Browning.
Hell yes.
I'll give you a third for Jake Browning.
Yeah, I'd do a third.
I'll give you 15 7th-round picks for the next 25 years.
No. You'd have to be like, you'd have to be smart about it. Like, 7th round? What am I going to do in the 7th round?
But yeah, that's my biggest concern is like if Jake Browning just goes off and be's a dog for the rest of the season, and then let's say he plays in the preseason, like what do you do with him? Because he's not going to sit behind Joe Burrow. He's not going to want to. This is like he play like a first round pick in my opinion.
Well, I mean, you also could have 2 quarterback sets. I mean, maybe put Jake Browning in there at, wide receiver, hit a double pass or something. Like,
What?
get creative with it. Joe Burrow throws to Jake Browning to a wide open Jamar Chase. Like, why not? Get fun.
I don't want to hear words out of you anymore.
Oh, what?
keeping like a good quarterback just for that? No.
Why not?
No.
I would do it. Shit.
No. It's horrible.
How is that bad?
Okay. Back to this game though. Trevor Lawrence before he went down was doing really, really good. I don't know how he got a QBR of 54.7. But he got sacked 2 times, threw 2 touchdowns for 258 yards, 22 out of 29 with his completion and attempts. That's
Right.
He did really, really good. I don't know how he got a QBR of 84.7. Oh, 54.7, I mean.
I was gonna say 84 is not that bad.
Yeah, 84 is pretty good, man.
54 points, like that is really low for what he did. So I'm not too sure who did that. Maybe they were drunk.
I don't know if like maybe injuries make that go down since he got injured.
Not
this
that
game.
I'm aware of.
Yeah, because I don't think that's how it should work, even if it does. His biggest receiver though was Evan Ingram.
The boy.
With 9 receptions, 82 yards. And then Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is the most inconsistent wide receiver I will ever watch. One day he drops like freaking 3 touchdowns and 200 yards. The next game he's getting 8 targets, 4 receptions with 26 yards. It's so inconsistent with Calvin. I'm flipping a bottle of sriracha, by the way. I don't know what it is with Calvin Ridley. Zay Jones also got a bit of the action with 5 receptions for 78 yards. So, always love to see that.
Well, I also want to, say too, poor T. Higgins, and he kind of existed, and they threw to him 3 times. This is another case of what could be a frustrated wide receiver. We talked about Marquise Brown earlier, and like how that
And
might
Devontae
go.
Adams early in the
Right,
season.
Devontae Adams, but now T. Higgins. I mean, it's not like he's bad or nothing, but the way he gets featured sometimes, I genuinely think he might be like, all right, screw this. I know I'm better than this. I want to trade or I'm going somewhere in free agency. Just one of the two for sure.
Right. But yeah, that is going to conclude week 13 of the NFL. Time to go
Also,
to
Irv
our
Smith is trash. LOL.
okay.
Sorry.
Time to go into our fantasies, good, bad, and mez. Cole, you want to start us off?
Sure. All right,
You may.
so my good, and honestly, I could have chosen like a bunch of different guys this week because I dropped like 163 points on poor Snyder. So RIP, buddy. Um, so
That's
I will
bad.
start with my good though. DK Metcalf.
He listened to you.
Yes, he did. Three receiving touchdowns, 134 yards, six receptions, and he put up 34-40. DK, I'm proud of you, brother. Way to go. Thank you for finally getting the let out, or Seahawks, thank you for finally passing it to him. I'm not too sure what the dynamic is, but like, good job, guys. I'm genuinely pleased. All right, on to my meh. So I've started the Patriots defense for 2 weeks in a row now.
Oh.
So once they did pretty okay, and I was gonna bring them up last week, but I chose something different. And I was like, all right, I'll give them another week, see what they did. I had to start them this week because the Ravens were on a bye. They put up 7 points, and they only allowed 6 points to the Chargers. Um, Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'm very pleased with New England. Their defense, not so much their team, but their defense. Way to go, guys. Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I Heading into this week, I'm like, yeah, they're probably gonna do like maybe 1 point if I'm lucky. They do seven.
Yeah.
I
That was
I was
pretty good.
blown. Yeah.
You were what? you wanna you wanna pause right there?
Pause. All right. My bad, and this was sad. Marquise Brown. Literally, I needed one thing from you this week. And thankfully you didn't cost me this week. But I literally would have settled for just like one pretty good catch. You got zero. 0 points, zero catches, 3 targets. I don't know. You are the most hit or miss prospect because one week you'll put up like 15 points or 1440. Next week you'll put up zero. Next week you'll put up 350. Next week you'll put up like 10. Like, can you make up your mind? Do you want to suck or do you want to be great? Just make up your choice so that way I'll know to start you or to get rid of you. Thank you. Um, and also Arizona and a whole just mess off, okay? Like, you beat the Steelers, but you didn't feature him. Come on. Man, those are my good, bad, and mez for this week. What about you?
All right, my good, bad, and mez. Starting off, I'm gonna start with the good and then go down the meh.
All right.
Welcome to the good slot, Chubba Hubbard, getting 22.40 points for me. Wow, that was insane. That
I
was
had two
really,
running backs who did better. LOL.
really, really good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But going with my meh, I'm going with Detroit's Dave Montgomery getting 12 points. I don't use mid as like bad. I hate when people do because it's not what it
Yeah,
means.
middle.
Yeah, it means middle of the road. You did good. You got 12 points. That's really good. For my bad though, Calvin Ridley with
Ooh.
5.30 points. But I am happy I won this week. I won by 106.8 to 60.3.30.
I won 163.18 to 146. Well,
Oh,
100 and then point 46. Not that
I was
much.
gonna say that sounds pretty close. And then, if anything, my week 14, you know how it shows like percentages. I have
Right.
a 72% chance to win.
Wait, who do you play this week?
Um, Click Commanders.
Oh, yeah, you should win that. You should win that. I'm sorry, Alana, if you ever watch this. Um,
Yeah.
meanwhile, I get the number one team in the league,
Oh,
so
you got Grandma.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did it.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Okay. It's time to end it off with our last segment for today, though. We like to bring in college. We like to implement college a little bit into this. We are going to talk about Florida State not being in the college playoffs instead being Alabama. This to me is disgusting. But Cole,
Yes.
I know you want to bring
Oh,
it in.
dude, I'm on fire right now. I'm ready to go. I need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. So it's not just gonna be me, like most rants. I mean, Jacob, we're gonna hear from him on this too. But I want to start because I've been like a caged animal wanting to talk about this. So how is it fair that a team
Cole,
in the ACC in the
Cole,
ACC
you want me to bring it in?
Yeah. No, we're fine far away because it might, cause people's houses to start burning if we did bring it in. So let's not do that.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So how is it fair that a team literally won every game on their schedule? And I know, again, here's the arguments. Okay, well, they probably didn't have a good schedule. They had the third in strength of schedule. They played LSU, destroyed LSU. They played Clemson. They beat them in overtime. They played NC State. They were a ranked team. They were pretty good. They played Louisville in the ACC title game. They beat them. They beat a very highly rated North Carolina team. If I'm not mistaken, in Chapel Hill too, on the road. Like, what more did this team have to do? And then I hear this stupidity, just straight up stupidity. Well, Florida State, they lost their quarterback. They lost their starting quarterback. They had no shot. They couldn't do anything with it. Okay, how do we know? Because there is a team, if you go all the way back, rewind the clock, to when Ohio State won the national title in 2014. I knew it was going to be a little hard for him, but Ohio State won it back in 2014. They beat Oregon and they beat Alabama with a third or second. I forget what Cordell or not Cordell Stewart. What's his name? Um. Oh my goodness, what is his name? Why is
They're all
this?
trash. We know they're all trash.
Okay, well, anyways, you guys get the picture. They were in a similar scenario, and they destroyed. They beat Alabama, and they ran all over Alabama. They played Oregon. They killed Oregon, and they had a third or second string quarterback in that whole run because their main quarterback got injured. So where does this crap come into that they cannot win a national title without a quarterback? I mean, they have a second string, and he's okay. They had a third string who was less than ideal, but still they won. Um, I'm flustered with this. And then Alabama. Let's talk about you people. You get everything when it comes to college football. Every little stupid thing. It always happens. Whether it's illegally hitting Jaden Daniels and not getting called for a targeting, whether it's a 4th and 31 miracle at Auburn, whether it's playing Georgia and having a catch that was clearly incomplete count as a catch, um, in a 4th down, mind you. So yeah, it was a kind of a big deal, just a little bit. Um, and then, you know, all year. It's the same shit. Every year it's the same shit. You get lucky, you get bailed out by the refs. You should have had a bunch more losses, but of course, these refs, they're in your back pocket. The committee, in your back pocket. Nick Saban, I don't know what he has over you guys as a committee, but he's got something because there's no way Alabama should have jumped into the Final Four. It is a disgrace to the game. Georgia or Florida State should it honestly, so Florida State should have been 3, and then Georgia or Texas should have been 4. There is under no circumstances that Alabama should have jumped Florida State. It's sick, and us as a college football fan base has some questions to ask because this is ridiculous. And if this is going to happen, why even have a season? Why have a season? They went 13-0. They beat every team you put in front of them, and they did it well. And God bless Mike Norvell, because one thing for sure, if I was Mike Norvell, I would have had some very unkind words to say to this committee, and there would have been action taken. I'm not saying physical, not saying violent, but there would have been some lawsuit or something, because this is unacceptable. There is a syndicate running the college football playoff committee, and it is now more evident than ever. And for any of you idiots out there who say TCU and Cincinnati was the reason for this, it's not even close. TCU was a joke, should never have gotten in, and it was a miracle they beat Michigan. Cincinnati was a joke because how the heck did they get in? And they got manhandled by Alabama. Well, I mean 24-10. Make your thing whatever it is, but Florida State was miles better than TCU and Cincy, and they don't get a shot. I mean, this is sad. This is unbelievably a Jordan travesty. This is unbelievable.
I really could not have said it better. Like every excuse that you see, like when it first happened, I was upset that Florida State didn't make it, but then people were like, the way I saw it was okay. Bama went in because what were they ranked before? They were like number 6 or something like that.
Number 8, I believe.
Number 8, and they beat the number 1 team. So I get that when they jump up, I get when if you're like a 15th ranked team and then you beat the number 1 team by a lot, you might jump up to
Oh, you were right. It was number 8, by the way.
number 8, right? So when you're that when you're low and then you beat the number 1 ranked team, I get that you might jump up, but to have beaten out a team that went completely undefeated last year because they're not last year. I'm talking like this year.
This year.
Yeah, this year, and then they were out because you beat the number 1 team when that doesn't make any sense. If your last name is Saban, then you get everything you want.
Oh, you do.
If you have red and white, then you get everything you want. If you are an
Not if
elephant,
you're a Blackhawks fan.
yeah, no. If you cannot be a Seminole in this committee, I guess, and we are starting to see this more than ever. Like to bring up the Jim Harbaugh stuff. People are like getting upset about the wrong things. If you want to be upset about anything, don't be upset that Michigan is in the playoffs. And people are upset about that. Don't be upset that Michigan are in the playoffs because they're looking at film, guys. But be upset that FSU is not in the playoffs because it's a complete and utter horrific thing. Are we going to put the Ravens out of the playoffs if Lamar Jackson isn't going to make the wild card? Because if that's going to happen, like if this is the rule now, then we might as well just if your starting quarterback is injured, don't you can't be in the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, the Bengals should have no chance. Jacksonville should have no chance. The Colts should be done for the season. I don't know why they're still playing. I mean,
Vikings are out.
Yeah, Vikings should be gone. There's one other team too, and I can't think of. Browns. Browns should be out.
Yeah, Browns should be out. But
I mean,
it's horrible to like, especially for the kids there. especially for
Exactly.
the kids at FSU. They worked so hard. Again, like you said, they have the third toughest schedule out of all the teams. To work so hard and to get undefeated and to be undefeated, and you're expecting to be number four, number three, anything in that position because we all knew Michigan was number one after Georgia lost.
Easily, yes.
Yeah, so with that, and then you get to see them at number what was it, five? Aren't they
Five.
five?
Yep.
Hmm. I would have walked out of that room. I would have walked off of campus if I was one of the kids that are at FSU here.
Man, I just, man, my heart breaks for Florida State, honestly, and I don't like Florida State. Like, I'm just, I don't hate you, I don't love you, but I mean, here I truly sympathize with them because they got screwed. I mean, Nick Saban, and this is a question for you, and God, I hope you watch this one day. Um, why? I mean, you already have your natties. You had, what people say you're the greatest coach in college football. I disagree, but that's another story for another time. Um, you had your natties. You had your time. And now you should see that this is BS. I mean, and I think you know it deep down. But you're going to allow this to happen. If I was you, Nick Saban, I would have called up and I would have said, look, we don't deserve this. Florida State should be there. But of course you won't because you're a conniving idiot. You only care about yourself. You only care about, your imaginary rings. Hey, guess what, buddy? When you die, those rings ain't coming with you. If anything, a moment like this it might hurt. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you it's gonna. I'm just saying it might. God might bring this up, and I don't want to be on that side. When Judgment Day does come. So I'm just fair warning to you. This is sick. Um, Man, what more is there to say? Because, think about this too. What about those Florida State kids? And I'm not talking about the players on the team. I'm saying, what about those kids in grade school, in middle school,
High
in
school.
kinder, yeah, even below or even in high school, like you're saying, even above that. Look, going into it, I bet you they were talking to their friends and they're going, "Hey, we're going to win the ACC title. We're going to be competing for a natty." And maybe even kind of a joke to the Hurricane fans and the Gator fans and all the other schools in Florida going, "Hey, it won't be you. It's going to be us." And now you rip it from them. And why do you rip it from them? I mean, this something's got to be done. There has to be some sort of revolt here. There's got to be some sort of justice because, man, this is sick. And shame on anybody who is, going to bat for Alabama and saying, they got the right call. Which, by the way, is probably A, Alabama fans, or B, people who got bought off by Alabama, like the Kirk Herbstreits of the world. Yeah, we heard you, Kirk, you Ohio State sellout. Um, I mean, he was the starting quarterback for Ohio
Mhm.
State. He was never really good, and then magically he's on the Nick Saban ass kissing club. How did that happen, Kirk? Or how about Chris Fowler? Chris Fowler, when he was doing College Game Day, he was one that he would never outright admit it, but you always had questions about him possibly even having ties with Alabama in terms of just showing support and things of that. And I'm not gonna fully accuse him. I'm not even really accusing him. I'm just saying, Fowler, if you're in support of this, you should be ashamed. Anybody who was Jesse Palmer when he was at the Florida State game and he was commentating the game, and he kept saying about oh well, if Florida State wins, it still should be Alabama or and Texas. He was saying that during the game. He was commentating it. Go back and watch it. I mean, this is sick. This is utterly sick, and it's getting as stupid as the NFL. This is I'm hot right now. This is unacceptable.
The landscape for college is changing in such a way because college, the college landscape is that anyone can beat them. Anyone can beat a top ranking team. A
Right.
team that's not ranked can beat the top 5 team in the nation. That was the college landscape. Even though it's very unlikely, that was always a possibility that could happen. It happened last year when TCU beat Michigan on
Yep.
a fluke. That was the biggest underdog last year,
Right.
and they still somehow a way to get to the national championship. They got blown out by Georgia, but they still found a way to get there. And now all you need is your last name to be Saban.
Yep. No, that's the harsh reality here. And again, just to go over something here, and I will credit Alabama on something. I mean, you did beat Georgia. You did have a good year. But should you be here? Absolutely not. You should be in a top bowl game, sure. New Year's Six. You should not be in the Final Four.
No.
And going to your point though about what you were saying about the little guy can beat the big guy. We've seen it so many times throughout the years. I mean, look at 2007. If you want a year like that, Michigan lost to App State.
Mhm.
LSU lost to Kentucky in 3 overtimes. LSU again, they were number 1. Again, they lost to Arkansas in 3 overtimes that year. And yet they still ended up winning the Natty that year. That was what was funny about it. Boston College, a team that nobody really even knows exists anymore, they were number 2 and number close to number 1. I mean, college football was always and has always been based off of, anything can happen, the wildness, the excitement, the pageantry, everything like that. But this moment is bigger than people think because now you, you can tear away at the anybody can beat anybody anymore. It's not going to matter. The fan bases. I mean, honestly, if I'm a Florida State fan, I might not even think about watching ever again. I mean, what's the point? Even if your team wins, you go undefeated, you win the ACC. Who cares? I mean, you're not getting to the main goal. And you know, then let's have this talk too. Power Five, that used to be a thing. You win the Power Five, you win in a Power Five conference, you're in. That used to be kind of the idea if you had a good enough team. And now you're shrinking away the ACC. In the Pac-12, it's gone after this year. I mean, there's only 2 teams left in the Pac-12, so I guess you could call it the Pac-2. Um, and now they're going to the Big Ten. And now you got Texas and Oklahoma leaving the Big 12. And over there they just added UCF and a bunch of other teams. So no longer, I mean, is the ACC just fallen off the map? Are we not counting them as a legit contender anymore? Are we also, going to do away with the Big 12? Because I know Texas is technically the Big 12, but I mean, they're pretty much the SEC anymore because that's where they're going. So, are we going to do away with even giving those conferences a chance at the Natty? This has huge question marks that need to be answered.
Exactly. It also thinks about, like I said earlier, the high school kids. You were mentioning like little kids. I was thinking more of like high school level because let's say you're a high school kid thinking about applying to Florida State University to play football, and then you can put your heart and soul into this team just to get completely screwed over by Nick Saban in Alabama.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point too. I didn't even think about it, but if you're a top recruit and you're going to Florida State, I mean, why? You, you were just showing that, hey, it doesn't matter. So, why not flip now, go somewhere else? I mean, go to Alabama, go to Georgia, go to LSU, go to, Michigan, go to Ohio State, go to
No,
Oregon. No, okay, not that one. Go to Washington, go to Texas, go to even Oklahoma. I mean, I know Oklahoma didn't, get a nod yet, but I mean, heck, they're going to choose Oklahoma over Florida State. They're choosing SEC over them, so just flip to the Southeastern Conference. Florida State shouldn't even have a football team anymore. I mean, really, and that's sad to say.
that
Why
like
even have them?
this whole thing just upsets me so bad
Me too.
because every argument is so flawed that is rooting for Georgia. No, for Alabama. I meant for Alabama.
Right?
Like, yeah, we get, Alabama beat the top one college in the country. We get that. We understand that they are going to jump up some ranks. But being number 4 ahead of an undefeated team, that's that's no excuse. That's no reason to take what these kids had away. And what gets the thing that gets me excited about this, there's one good thing that gets me excited about this,
What's that?
is that that Florida State is going to rip Georgia apart because that's their bowl game. And that's why I think Florida State is going to play mad
I
when they
hope
face
so.
Georgia in the bowl game. They are going to be mad. Me and you both, Cole, think Florida State University will beat Georgia, and I hope
Yeah.
they do, to send a message to NCAA, because it's
Well, I
absolutely
do have
criminal.
some bad news. Johnny Wilson, the star wide receiver, has already did what honestly I thought many more Knowles would do. I'm glad to see the trend hasn't fully started yet, but Johnny Wilson said, "I'm skipping the bowl game. I'm going to the pros." So that part obviously hurts the Florida State
Yeah.
attack, but in a way, I do fault him and I don't fault him. This is the one time where I can genuinely say I don't fully fault a player for missing a bowl game, because I'd be
I
hurt
completely
too.
agree.
But yeah, the second part of that though is, you know, you just you can't do that to your guys. I mean, I to walk out on Coach Norvell and walk out on the rest of the team. I mean, I don't fully agree with it, but I do understand it. I mean, even if you win, what have you won? I mean, they're probably not even going to care, and the message might even fall on deaf ears. So there's a lot to take in about this again. And um, my last thing, and then I don't want to keep you folks here forever, even though I
All right.
could rant about this forever.
I
Um,
want to say one thing before
oh
you
yeah, go ahead.
send your thing. If Deion Sanders was the head coach for Florida State University, I feel like they would have been in. And I know Stephen A. Smith said that.
I don't
But
disagree.
I think college sports are becoming more about who is popular. Everyone knows Bama.
Right.
Every your grandmother knows Bama, who hasn't watched college football since Tom Brady threw the ball in 1932. Um, Everyone knows Alabama. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. Every single person knows them. So, and everyone knows Nick Saban as well. So to
Oh, of course.
have, Florida State University, this underdog, go undefeated with a really tough schedule, and then Alabama defeats Georgia, and it's like, oh, well, no one's going to watch a Georgia, no, a Michigan versus Florida State game. Everyone knows what will happen. Let's just put Alabama in there instead, because they would have likely been number 4 if they were in the playoffs,
Right.
likely, and then them face Michigan. So I think college football, if they're going to head in this direction, people will start retreating back to the NFL like how it used to be, which none of us want.
Right. No, I mean that's a great point.
Yeah, you send your point home, though.
So my point here to finish off the show, I do want to bring this up. So it has come to my attention that I'm an LSU fan and he's a Michigan fan, and there might be somebody out there that goes, and again, I believe me, I've seen about everything from Alabama fans, so nothing really shocks me anymore. Um, well, you're an LSU fan. You hate Alabama, which is true. You wouldn't want them in the playoffs anyways, which is partially true. I'll get to why that's partially true next. And then they might look at you, Jacob. They might go, "Hey, he's a Michigan fan. Of course, he wouldn't want to see Alabama. I mean, Alabama, they're SEC. Michigan always kind of chokes in round one of the playoffs. They don't want to see Alabama. They'd get destroyed." That might be the thought. Well, the reason I say partially is because there is instances where I have pulled for Alabama to be in the playoffs. there is instances where I wanted to see Alabama even win a national title. That was against Notre Dame because I don't really like Notre Dame a whole lot. I mean, I love Our Lady, but I hate what that school has become. So I have pulled for Alabama before. As a matter of fact, they made me look smart one time in the 7th grade, back when that game was played, because a bunch of the cool kids were like, Notre Dame's gonna kill them, and I said, "You're idiots," basically, and I was right. So thanks, guys. Um, but the reason why I bring that up is, look, Alabama, if Florida State lost, I would agree that Alabama should be there or Georgia should be there. Some definitely an SEC representation, but since Bama beat Georgia, I mean, it would make sense for Alabama to go in over Georgia. If Florida State lost, they didn't. And, you know, so I don't fully hold the banner and say no, you have no chance of coming in. Um, but I do think this is wrong, and I beg you, anybody who's a diehard Alabama fan, please really think about this before getting upset. I mean, be upset about your team getting in over a team who is more well deserving if you're going to be upset, because it's you watch the rant, you already know my opinion. It's just it breaks. It's sad. And you might be, even if y'all win the Natty, I wouldn't even be happy. So I just, let's end on that note, because that really needs a morale check, or if you're Catholic, you'll get this, an examinance of conscience about what happened here today, and really look ourselves hard in the mirror here, and really see what's wrong with this.
Yeah, exactly. I just wish there was a way that we could change it. Really,
I
like
agree.
we could protest it, but it's said and done. There's nothing fighting. There's no way to fight it now.
And ESPN too, you hypocrites. Again, to say, like, apparently from what I've heard, they came out and they were like, we did the wrong thing. Well, fix it. If you see it's wrong, fix it now. And guess what? To those people who already made arrangements, reimburse them, because you guys messed up, and you should be the ones that pay fully for this and nobody else. I don't fault Alabama fans for, I mean, hey, your team's in, and if you heard the announcement, yeah, you would go buy, hotels or whatever to go watch the game, of course. But I do fault the ones that are overjoyed by this and are unapologetic to the truth, because this is, like I said, unbelievably sad. Screw you, ESPN.
Yeah. On that note, though, we are rooting for Florida State to beat Georgia.
Yep.
Um,
Go Knowles.
yep. Go Seminoles. It's really weird to hearing an LSU fan say that. I will never root for Ohio State, though. Never. But I hope everyone out there had a fun week 13, and I hope you guys have a fun week 14 coming up for Thursday night football game. And I hope you guys have fun watching the bowl games coming soon.
God bless y'all.
That is JCP. I am Jay from JCP, and we're out.